Hey guys, Jess with Piku Wreath. We're back to work on our newest wreath. It's going to be, it has a sign that says "Oh Holy Night" with navy blue, baby Jesus and the three wise men, and Mary and Joseph. We're going to be using that sign, which is kind of a large sign. It is, 12 inches across. And normally I use a 14-inch frame, but I'm going to be using this 24-inch pine wreath base because I think that this fits really beautifully right across. And sometimes with the smaller frames, it kind of feels like it's just kind of awkward. So we're going to be doing that. So yes, 24-inch Dollar Tree wreath form. 24-inch pine wreath base from Hobby Lobby. Final answer, sticking to it. All right, so this is what the tag says if you need to see it. The prices might have gone up since last year, but I'm not sure. But there's always two tags on there, so make sure you flip it over and get both. You can kind of see a little bit better from the back, but there's two rings. So there's this upper ring here, and then this lower ring. So when you go through and fluff your wreath out, what you're gonna want to do, just take your hands, and the easiest way I do it is I make kind of like a claw, and just literally pull backwards. Okay, just pull straight back. It'll fluff it all up. It's meant to be flat so that they can, pack them in. But it does wonders when you just fluff it. You don't have to do anything fancy, but you're just pulling those up so that they're not straight down. Okay, and then the second thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go through and separate the rings like this. So you see how there's a top ring and a bottom ring. So as you go through, you're literally just going to go like this and pull them just for the step, like that. Okay, so you're going to go all the way through and just separate them because we're going to be putting 12 pieces of mesh on the bottom and then 6 on the top. And if you don't separate them out, then you're going to accidentally put some of your extra, the mesh that you think you're putting on the bottom, you're actually putting on the top ring. And then when you go add your ribbon in, it's an odd number and it doesn't look great. So what works for me. Do what works best for you. But so we're just going to go through and separate it all like that. Okay. See how there's a top and a bottom. Okay. All right. So these are the 4 colors of mesh that we're going to be using. I don't usually use this many, but I kind of was using some leftovers, and also I wanted to use this one. It's a white and it has silver and it's like holographic with the rainbow, reflective. So I like that. And then I also had this one left over. It's gray and it has threading that's holographic. And then we have a burlap with snowdrift, and then we have blue. So I think that these colors look beautiful together. I think that they're going to really accent that sign. We're going to be using 3 of each except for the white with the holographic. We're going to be using 6. So I really like how pretty this is, and I feel like it's a little bit thin, and if I cut it at 20 inches, I don't feel like it'd work good enough. Okay, so this is cut to 30, the rest of them are cut to 20. Just because sometimes you do get a mesh that, you like the way that it looks, but when you start to work with it, you realize it's kind of thin or, seems like it might fray more. So you're going to want to roll that edge a couple extra times, and that means that you need the length of the 30-inch. Okay, so same as I always do, just make a ruffle, put the cut edge facing down. You don't have to add any ties, just use 2 of the ties that you already have there, and it'll look like this. Okay, so when you roll the edge, you're kind of trying to hide the cut edge because sometimes that can fray, especially on ones that have like a kind of a big weave like this. Okay, so we have that one. Now we're going to go through. We're going to be alternating the colors. Again, I said that one that I just put in was cut to 30 inches, but the rest of them are cut to about between 20 and 24 inches. Okay, this blue one especially, it's nice and thick. It's a higher quality. And it doesn't see, like this is 20 inches and it's pretty much as thick as the 30-inch on the other one. So, it is a lot of times, you get what you pay for, and that goes for mesh too. Okay. I'm trying to make it so that you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm just twisting that one of those branches just one time because we are going to be coming through and putting in our ribbon, and we don't necessarily need to twist it a bunch of times. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to be doing my, I think I'm going to be doing white, then blue. All right, we'll figure it out. All right, so like I said with the white, or this iridescent here, I am curling it a couple extra times compared to the other ones, just because I want to make sure that none of that fray shows through. And I'm pretty sure I did the math. I'm doing the math right here, or I'm doing the holographic one every other one. You know what, if we get up to the top and it's not working, we'll figure it out. If the math isn't mathing right, we'll figure it out at that time. Okay, so yeah, this is kind of I'm using some mesh that I had left over, some rolls that I had that were not complete. I don't like having rolls left over in a project. I try to figure out the math so that there isn't any left over, because I don't like having the mesh open, first of all, where it can fray, and second of all, I don't like it where I don't know how much mesh is left on the roll, and then I have to sit there and like measure it all out and like take extra time, and I don't like that. So yeah, I don't. So there, that's what we're doing. Okay, so here we go. Let's roll this a couple times. And then just gather it up, keeping your thumbs stationary. Here we go. I have a show coming up. If you guys are local to southeastern Michigan, come out and see me. It will be the Saturday and Sunday after Thanksgiving at Henry Ford High School. And it's the biggest show around here. But I wanted to make a couple of nativity wreaths because I don't have any for my show, and I made one yesterday and I sold it yesterday, so that was exciting and I'm very thankful for that. But I wanted to try to, you know, make another one, so let's just cut that. All of these mesh, I believe, were from Craft Outlet, except this burlap one. I think it came from like Walmart or Michael's, but they sell it at Hobby Lobby. That's normally where I get it from. But yes. All right, we're putting it down. We're trying to make them nice and even. And then turning it. You guys will notice too that the closer your mesh gets to the end of the roll, the more tightly wound it is. So if you want pieces that are not as tightly wound, use the beginning part of the roll. For this technique, it doesn't really matter, but if you do like a curl technique where you want it to be nice and big, then you're going to want to use the beginning parts of the roll. So yeah, we're just going around trying to make them nice and even, trying to make it look nice and fluffy. Now we're putting the blue one in. So yeah, I just got done doing a Facebook Live a little bit ago. Can you guys see what I'm doing? These wreaths are so big, and it like takes up all the room on my table. I always have to make sure that I look up at my phone to make sure that I'm not out of range. All right, let's see. Put this one here. And if you get to the end and you put too many in and you still have some space, you can always move some. So let's see where I'm at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so we're doing 12 on the bottom. So I think I'm doing okay. Let me roll this here. Roll it a couple times and just gather it up the middle, keeping the thumb stationary. We want it to look like a butterfly or a bow tie with that cut edge hidden. We don't want any frays to be showing if possible. Just finding a nice spot to put these in. It's really nice because with these branches, you don't have to add any ties in. So you don't have to worry about adding any ties or, you know, the time that it takes to attach the ties to the rings. You already have them built in, so it's a nice time saver. Just just gotta make sure that you put the correct amount of mesh on the bottom. That I like to use 12. The nice even number works out because, like for this one, we're doing every other one. We don't want to have two that are next to each other, which I mean, it's not the end of the world. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we need 11, 12. Okay, so we need a white and a tan. All right. And roll that a couple times. Just gather it up the middle. And this works out perfectly. I got a nice spot for 2 more. And you want to push it like as far, like you want it to be tight to the frame. And then we need a brown one. There we go. And you guys see what I'm doing? Here we go. These wreaths end up being so big and beautiful. They fit very snugly in my shipping boxes. I almost don't need to wire them down to the bottom at all. All right, so there's the bottom. The bottom level's all done. And now we have our top level here. We're gonna be putting 6 in. So we're gonna do every other one with the white. So just doing the same thing, just folding one end under, and then just picking a spot. Putting it down in there. There we go. And then we're gonna grab one of the white ones. Just curl it a couple times under. Trying to keep it as even as possible. There we go. And if you do notice any frays when you're adding them in, you can always cut those off. To be overlapping each other. Alright, let's grab a blue. Just curl it a couple times and just gather it up the middle. This piece feels slightly longer than the other ones, but that's okay. I usually try to do them all. Yeah. I was trying to make it so that the blue. Here, let me think. So I'll do a gray there, white. I'll put blue over here. I didn't want the blue right on top of the blue. I mean, it doesn't really matter that much, but if I can separate them, it looks nice. And I don't know, variation, I guess. All right, so let's put the gray one there. You can tell this is the end of the mesh because it's a little bit tighter wound. There we go. All right, this one goes over here. That one came untied, so I'll redo that. Yeah, I only tie them once at this step because we're going to be coming back through and putting our ribbon in, and we want to make sure that we have enough tie to fit our ribbon in there too. Tie this one back again. Undone. There we go. Get a piece of blue coming off. We don't want that. All right, so I need a white one here. And normally when I make my wreaths on a 14-inch frame, they end up being about 24 inches across. But these wreaths start already on a 24-inch frame, so they are definitely wider. Which, I mean, if there's going to be a time that you go a little big on your wreath, Christmas is where it's at, if you ask me anyways. All right, so we got blue already in, so we need a white one. Is that it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yep, 6. So I'm gonna move this brown one just a little bit because I feel like it's a little bit close to that white one. So we're just gonna move it just a little bit. Move it right here. Okay, and then we need one more piece right here. Really, this mesh is really pretty. I like the way that it reflects. And it has that rainbow holographic on it, which is really cool. Alright, let me grab 2 ties, twist that in, and we will be done making our base. Next time we'll see you guys, we'll be adding in our ribbon tails. There we go. Alright, this already measures exactly 24, a little over 24 inches across. And it is all done. Alright, I will see you next time. See you guys.